What is up, fellow classified collectors? Today we are taking a look at G.I. Joe Classified Series figure number 87. This is Robert Grunt Graves. I noticed that it didn't include the W, but that is part of his name. I'm not sure what his middle name is. That's just his middle initial. Here we have the front of the packaging. Nicely done, as always, by Hasbro. He's got, obviously, an M16, a 1911 or similar style pistol, the XM-LR-3A laser rifle, a backpack, and two different helmet. Well, one's a head, I think, and the other's a helmet option, plus a knife. And on the back here, just more pictures of him. He's also apparently got this heart monitoring device and pouches on the side. Supposedly, he has a holster on his belt, which you cannot see in the package shots. Well, I think in the front one, you can kind of see it. Yeah, see back there? See, he's got his pistol holstered. So we're going to take a look at him. We're going to open him up and see what goods are inside. All right. Usual, nice Classified Series packaging. The new plastic-free. I mean, I'll admit, you know, I'm kind of with the crowd that likes the plastic packaging because you know what you're going to get. So I understand the concern that you might buy something and it's wrong. But I feel like that's more of a retail and Amazon problem versus a regular collector shop / Pulse issue. Yeah, I mean, if you're taking the item back in a return, you don't know what you're going to get. I had a little trouble with this here. This is going to go much smoother than my Helix review, which should anyway. There's his equipment footlocker thing. There's the figure. Ooh. I kind of like the head. I don't know. It might be a little bit kind of silly and cartoonish, but it works. He's got those same plastic sprue, not sprues, what are these? These are plastic rubber, I guess you'd call them ties. They were using twine in some of them, and then they switched to these, which are, I won't say that they're outright worse, but they're not, I mean, I guess twine was more expensive, or it's more difficult to source, I don't know. I mean, it seems like this may have been in anticipation of a switch back to plastic packaging that they just did this. Probably because it was cheaper to just, you know, kind of start the process. Personally, I understand why plastic-free packaging in some ways works better for the environment and has an overall better feel. But, you know, I also get why the plastic packaging had to come back. I get what Hasbro was dealing with. There are issues of theft and product issues that just, you know, could not be resolved by being this new packaging. I mean, to be honest, Hasbro had claimed that there was a way to secure these figures, right? But it seems the way that they had was just, let's hope and pray that nobody figures out that they can return the wrong figure. So they evidently didn't figure out the problem, and they ended up going back to the old ways. Now, much like the Jinx figure, I feel a little bit like this one might be a little bit not properly lined up. But I will say this, that could be, okay, that's the belt. That's what's causing the imbalanced look. Head sculpt is not bad, actually. I mean, looking at it closer, it does look a little cheesy. Not great. But, I mean, compared to some of the heads we got, like Falcon, which, yeah, I don't know what the hell the deal was with Falcon. This feels like an improvement. You can't expect a lot with Classified. Their newer sculpts have been largely bad. Some of their earlier sculpts had more detail. Let me show you Duke real quick. Ramcycle Duke, in my opinion, is a really good sculpt. I get why people didn't like him. They thought he looked a little young, and I understand that, but there's my other figures. I have a lot of action figures. Apologies if they get me shot. It's not me. It's just, you know, I have a big collection and not a lot of space. And even if I did, they'd probably all be in one spot anyway. Because I also have other hobbies like cars and trains to think about. So here we go. Here's his accessories. It's reveal time. So his bag was pretty full. I mean, I'm not surprised. He did come with a lot. Do we have a bent M16 AR? Yeah, we kind of do. What are you going to do? It's the unfortunate state of classified equipment right now. It's a little wobbly because the plastic is a little too flexible. Hasbro's claimed that it was necessary for safety reasons and cost purposes, but that it's going to go away. They don't know what their messaging is. There's the M16 with the magazine inserted. I'm not a fan of the stock on this. I wish Hasbro would have just made it with a regular fixed stock, an AR stock, not the newer M4 collapsible stock, because that stock should be reserved for weapons that have shorter barrel lengths. This is, I presume it's based on an M16A3 or it's probably a derivative of the M16A3, so I don't know. Looking at this figure, you do got this vest. There is some sort of a combat. That's like a little monitor thingy that I guess you would wear. I don't even know what that is. It's like the Joe Pro, it's probably something Hasbro came up with on the fly. I don't know if you can see this, but they did a pretty good job with the Graves name tag, minus maybe the fact that the paint bleeds. There are some lines that don't quite line up. He's got a nice belt. I mean, nice enough. But I kind of feel like there should be more on it than just a... Well, okay, I guess there's a knife holder. I'm assuming that's... Well, no, actually, that's not for a knife. That's for the magazine, isn't it? Yeah, so when you don't put the magazine in the gun, you could stick it in his back, which kind of doesn't make sense that Hasbro does that, considering they only ever give you one. Or at least enough that you would only have one. If they were going to include extras, then that would be a good reason to have that. I kind of wish that they would, because I feel like including extra mags would allow some more customization. Even if it were just that they included, I guess his little, device isn't fully connected. It's pegged in there, isn't it? I think that's what it is. I'm trying to get this backpack on. It's a little tough. One thing I can say about this backpack is it's real thick. And it's not rubber like some of the previous ones, which is weird because they kind of went through a rubber accessory period. The V2, or I guess the Mad Marauders, if you will, version of Barbecue had that problem. And I have the Mad Marauders Barbecue as my barbecue because I wasn't able to get the other one. Yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about this knife being there, given that they've got this thing there that clearly is supposed to work. I'm not sure if that's was thought out well. I think that's where the knife's supposed to go. I mean, if you look at packaging, it definitely seems like that's how they wanted you to use the knife. And then, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, he's got these two helmets. This is really a nice version of the figure. I will say, having had a 25th anniversary version of Grunt before, it's nice that they gave him a vest this time instead of some web gear. And it's nice that he comes with this alternative head, which also could probably be used elsewhere, but I'm not sure because I know some of the heads don't fit. This is basically, I don't know if you can see it. Can you guys, it's not really focusing well. There we go. It's not going to stay in focus very well, but it's steel core helmet. I mean, it's... Yeah, I can't get it to focus, but it's a steel core trooper helmet. Done up in different shade of green, I think. Seems like this helmet's going to come out multiple times to give army builder potential. I'm guessing the intention was that you would buy duplicates of Grunt, use that, but with the Graves name tag, it's kind of hard to justify that. So maybe they meant for him to be a companion to Steel Core. But Hasbro, they're going to claim that he's an army builder because why not, right? I mean, you could probably just reissue this figure again at some point with just the steel core helmet. They'll probably do another figure with this vest set. I mean, Hasbro seems to like reusing parts. Doc does come with a similar vest, but it's not going to be the same one from what I understand. At least doesn't look like it could be this exact one, because this one has sculpted on magazine pouches that have sculpted magazines. Go figure. Apparently, it was too much for Hasbro to make multiple loose mags, so instead they just they approximate mags for the rest of it. You know, I mean, it makes sense, right? Save money where you can. I'm not sure if I'm going to display him with this bad boy, which is an iconic G.I. Joe Sunbow rifle. That's the XM-LR3A rifle. Apparently, the rifle was first named in I want to say it was on the file card for Snow Job, though there might have been a different figure, but that rifle did get a name in the 80s, and people just don't know it because it's kind of a weird thing where it was never really mentioned. This one's just an AR. I'm assuming it's some sort of an M16 style. I'm assuming that's what Hasbro probably thinks it is. And, sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, look at this. He's got NVG mounts. I really like that on the helmet. These helmets have come with these NVG mounts. This is the same helmet that I think comes with... I think this is the same one that comes with Roadblock. And I know Rock and Roll has the same helmet, just with, graphics on it, of course. And Rock and Roll's a great figure, and I will show him off to you because he is a great figure. At some point, we'll take a quick look at a bunch of figures, and he's one that I want to talk about because he's a good one, and some of these figures have really, really, really sold the line for me, who had been a little bit... I don't want to say that I was losing interest, per se, but I definitely feel like some characters, like Scrap Iron, are as good as they are. There's some disappointments, like his rocket thing not having tracks, which kind of is disappointing. Those track designs are non-functional. It's really stupid that they don't move. But he's a great figure, yeah. I mean, there's his side pouches, probably more mag pouches. Might be a medical pouch of some kind. I don't know what else he's carrying in there. I mean, he doesn't come with a gas mask, so it's not like they're suggesting he has a gas mask item. Because they would give him a gas mask if they wanted him to have one. I think the only figure I know that has a gas mask is Shooter. I mean, he's got this helmet, which maybe he doesn't need a gas mask if he's got this steel core helmet. But yeah, I mean, I paid $30 for this one. I'm really excited with it. We're really happy with it. Unlike the Helix figure, which I do like it, but it feels a little bit wobbly. This one feels very sturdy. I think maybe it's hit or miss. I know that there have been issues reported with other figures. One of the biggest figures to have issues, or just say one of the most important issues, has been wobbly joints or loose joints that aren't necessarily wobbly, but in some cases it's just that the arm might pop off. If you know anything about previous releases, Hasbro's getting a lot of flack for how they designed Zorana, because her left arm was loose, and that was a problem that never really got fixed. One thing I should point out is, like all Hasbro figures that include backpacks, this one obviously has 2 slots for the rifles to go in, so he can carry both at once. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to do this. I've been kind of doing it like this. See, that's one thing I will say. This backpack is a little weird. I think it's designed to slot in, but it's just not holding. So I probably have to just futz with it a little bit. But yeah, you can fit both rifles on his gear. I've actually seen his rifles and backpacks show up on eBay, so I'm assuming that people are buying the figure. They don't need the gear. Maybe they want the grunt body to make other characters. And because they're doing that, they're trying to offload large quantities of the backpack and rifles. Which to me, like, if I was needing extras, I could see why I might do that. Like, there's good, genuine... These are great weapons. These are 2 weapons that, if Hasbro ever does weapon packs, these would definitely be candidates, in my opinion, for a good weapon pack. Because they do the job. they do the job so well. They're iconic weapons from G.I. Joe. Nobody would ever, I think, venture to complain about these two rifles. And the backpack's a good backpack. I mean, it's kind of universal. So I hope at some point we get another figure that uses some of this stuff. Because, I mean, I know we're getting Scarlet that uses the same weapons with a slightly different paint up. And I actually think that's a good idea on Hasbro's part. Because Scarlet has been depicted with both the Sunbow XMLR laser rifle and an AR in the past. And her getting, I think she's getting either the pistol that comes with Grunt or a different pistol that... I've seen the pistol, I just don't think it's the exact same one. My only issue with Scarlet's build-up is that they didn't give her a proper holster. Instead, they sculpted a hand holster pistol thing that kind of detracts from the figure because it's a pistol on her hand, and that therefore means that she can only she would only have a holster on it. It just doesn't make sense. I mean, it's one of those tiny little details that doesn't quite fit, if you know what I mean. So yeah, this one's a little wobbly too. I will admit that now that I've handled it a little bit, the figure feels just a little bit off. I think you gotta futz with it some more, but yeah. Overall, my thoughts on this is it's a good figure. If you're thinking about getting it, you're on the fence, just go ahead and pick it up because you're going to hate yourself if you don't. You're going to see how cool it is, other people are going to have it, you're going to be like, I want this figure. I hope you guys found this video entertaining at all, and if not, at least decently interesting. Maybe informative. If you have any thoughts on this figure, or if you want to talk about a figure that you have thoughts about, let me know in the comments below. I hope to see you in the next one. Thank you.